Good evening and Happy New Year. This is a summary for a series of military court discussions that I'm posting online over the next few days, hopefully if I have enough time and if means allow, because my means are not sufficient, to tell you the truth, for a military court official. And what this summary is about is explaining to you how that situation has come about so that we can have a real conversation in place of quite a deluded public, not just conversation, but programmed public behaviour that is happening around my life. And I want to explain to you why that has happened around my life. And you can ask yourself whether it's because of a particular relationship, a real relationship to an American singer and actress, or is it related to a foundation bringing forward space technology, or an official Irish Republican Army involved in said space technology. And to answer the latter question, official recognition at United Nations level is not of a regime in Ireland which is actively assaulting a North African country at the moment, and where there has been armed international intervention. Unfortunately, it wasn't to preclude that assault by an Irish regime. But the situation is certainly better now than it was prior to Christmas. Perhaps, given the nature of the intervention, the country that intervened, and the relationship to the state wherein I am, it's probably better that you don't know. A lot of my friends certainly know where I am and what's going. Maybe, hopefully, I have some better idea of what's going on here. But in as far as international relations are concerned, you don't need to make any assumptions on the nature of the state here. It's not an anarchist state like Ireland was. So, although there may be problems with local police and complaints that are made here, they're not seen as massive national structural issues like there were in Ireland. And this is an Islamic kingdom, and they are known to have taken an honourable position within the United Nations in regards to a UN outlawed torture project that originated in Ireland, and which the Irish regime has sought to export here. You might hear numerous references to Garda and acid outside by this kind of gentleman here who likes to shout outside the door all the time. There's dozens and dozens of them outside the window. Many of them are Irish nationals impersonating Moroccans and pretending to speak Arab and really speaking only a very, very offensive encouragement of biological terrorism. Every minute of the day, everywhere here, it is one of the greatest cultural offences of our modern day. And it's a project that's been called The Fool's Game, and it has targeted my life specifically. It has also targeted her life. And given that we do not want to, given that this encouragement of grave terrorism and disgusting, grotesque violence, the discouragement of that is so important. Now, we don't need to name each other in this, because we seek a life in the future where there is more respect for our persons and there aren't public references to games on our bodies. So we can step forward with that and having a real conversation about real issues in the United Nations and international military. Activists internationally concerned about the state of international global relations that are evident here, or perhaps more evident in Europe. Such activists can take some comfort in a very righteous and brave series of decisions and qualified, capable action has demonstrated consistent, righteous authority from a superpower. Thank you. As we move forward, a conversation which such massive measures were taken to deny the very subject of the conversation itself and its advanced space technology. Such a vast denial was put in place that it has now become completely public when, as the lives of those involved developed and sought independent futures operating as publicly, as they could within a massive illegal human surveillance project and distribution of the materials of a person's life as a social gain. There is no longer any obvious denial of said space program. There is only a massive and violent and criminal public offence to it. And such persistent public offence, such financed public violence, biological terrorism, relentless slander and obstruction, that a cultural disintegration, extremely subversive colonial assault, at least here in Africa. In Ireland it was simply an assault of homebred tyrants upon and actually educated and by alleged democratic results, highly supportive of us population. Nonetheless, the most vicious and brutal and disgusting game emerged in that country and was related to an illegal human experiment. And in response to that experiment, I was appointed as one of the most capable, informed and relevant individuals to investigate the experiment for United Nations. And I was personally appointed by Kofi Annan